this. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to breathe and happy stretching.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Maggie Forciero and thank you for joining us for this evening's edition of Today on One. In the news tonight, Germany refused to negotiate with us because we are black, says Rukoro. Kalume loses one of her 5. Commonwealth constituents call for the nullification of the Constituency Development Committee. Derailing concerns Trans-Namib. And round up Comments Corner, Business on One, Sports and the weather. Now for the news in detail. The Ovaherero Traditional Authority and Nama Leaders Association are warning German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier to not come to Namibia as they don't want an apology from his government and will be met with the full wrath of the affected communities. This comes after the Namibian and German governments met behind closed doors to finalize the genocide deal. Listen Voller has this report.
And the only difference, Germany is continuing to refuse to sit down with us as victims of their genocide and extermination campaign is because we are black Africans. So it's a racist policy.
According to Rukoro, Germany is still unwilling to meet with the affected communities and has reached terms with the Namibian government, not the victims. Rukoro is calling on the opposition parties to boycott the apology by the German president and for the Namibians to not accept this political stunt.
We are also in discussion with them that should the German president actually have the courage to come over here for the so-called apology, they must basically boycott and reject his apology, because we also suffered, apart from physical genocide, we suffered cultural genocide. Our people in Botswana and South Africa, when we visit them, some of them have lost their culture, they can't even speak their mother tongue. So the apology is coming here is not the murders committed against our ancestors, but it's the atrocities, the colonial crimes, the unfortunate wounds that are still open, occasioned by this von Trotter guys. But anyway, don't worry. We are prepared to, and genocide is understood by them is in a moral sense, in a political sense.
The affected communities believe that the Namibian government just wants to get their piece of the blood money Germany wants to pay. The German president is expected to visit Namibia to give an official apology.
DP5 is proposed by government and going to be spent. With respect, the majority of those people are going to turn out to be our fellow white citizens in the first place, and secondly, they are going to be Oshiwako people. First, they are not going to be heroes, no honors. Government knows that. Germany is smart enough to also know that. Of the political regions created by government, the 7 regions, our areas are little dots, just like this. So the big billions and hundreds of millions of Namibian dollars of German money that is going to be spent in these political regions, they will be totally and absolutely meaningless to our people. The big dollars will benefit white commercial farmers and the other black guys who have been shifted from where they live up north, who live in the so-called political regions. Does that constitute wiedergut machen and healing the wounds of the Namas and the others to captivity? Move to any of the other 6 regions. Ochorunjupa, Omaheke, Karas, Harda, Kunene, Terongo. Go and look at the list of GNDP5 projects. With respect, sir, go and do your homework.
The Ovaherero Traditional Authority and the Nama Leaders Association are preparing to get assistance from the United Nations and the African Union on this matter.
On a sad note, the Commerce Regional Governor at the visit of Kalume and her quintuplets revealed that one of Kalume's 5 babies has passed on. Today on One was informed that the quintuplet that passed was the smallest amongst the 5, and thus her lungs were not matured, which led to her death. Selma Tapopi has more.
The Commerce Regional Governor, while visiting the quintuplets and their mother to hand over gifts, conveyed a message of condolence and pledged her commitment to avail assistance to Kalume and her remaining 4 should the need arise.
We are the leadership, regional leadership of this region, and we felt to pay visit to her and to also appreciate the God for giving us those 5 babies. Before I go any further, I do not know whether the Namibian nation now is aware that we lost one of the child, of the baby. And we paid our condolences. My office, the Commerce Regional Council, as well as the region, to Nenehilia, and of course the husband. Now our donation seemingly is in 3-fold. We decided to buy some items from the mother, for the mother rather, along. And then equally we also bought some cloth and toiletry babies. But then also we were aware that there are other grown-up children, the mother being in a hospital. We equally also catered for them, and that's why you see that we brought some dry foodstuff, vegetables as well.
MacLeod Kashira further extended gratitude and encouragement to the Windhoek Central Hospital's neonatal unit staff, who she notes are doing a good job. With her appeal to members of the public to adhere to the said COVID-19 health regulations, she has also encouraged Namibians to get vaccinated.
is just to mask, to wash your hands regularly with soap water, to make sure that you keep distance, and obviously to avoid gatherings, mainly when it is not necessary. Let us not be moving around. The other thing is that I think by now we all ought to know is that big gatherings are the source of this COVID-19. Being it weddings, funerals, whatever, as long as they are birthdays, as long as they are big gatherings. Hence, I am also appealing, humbly appealing, to the people to get vaccinated. As I stand here, I received my jab. I was vaccinated 3 weeks back now. And I can assure you and I can testify, sometimes when you read the pamphlet, you hear of dizziness, headache, this and that. Those are some of the signs that I never had, not even a single one. So I want to believe, though one would say that we are not all the same. Our immune system are always not the same. But at least there is that need that we take the vaccination. So we are urging, we are requesting, and if at all, everybody can come on board and take the vaccine.
Yet another peaceful demonstration took place in the capital today. A group of Commersdal constituents marched to the office of the Commersdal Constituency Regional Office and demanded the nullification and rerun of the Constituency Development Committee elections. This report from Isai Sipunga.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
How can you put a CDC who is already corrupt back on the duty? Huh? Is it fair? It's not fair. Huh?
The group feels the elections were secretive and that the appointed committee members are what they call drinking buddies.
The majority of the backdoor elected committee members are close friends and drinking partners of the constituency councillor, Honorable Samuel Angolo. Ochomise 3, 4 and 5 constituency development committee was only voted by her 7 friends.
Yes.
This is of course due to the fact that she was the only one informed about these elections by her comrades from the constituency office.
The group says there was a complete disregard of the decentralization policy, a guiding document on the establishment of the CDC.
This is the guiding document to the establishment of the CDCs. Yes. So this is the guide to it all. So let us do it in accordance to this.
Yes, the community was not well informed, and you know, it was held on the street corners, and we didn't know about that.
How does it come someone who is staying in the other suburb or in the other informal settlement is handling our in-settlement? Then it is not fair. Whereby the other states, other places where the woman is staying, there's developments. That's why we come up by saying that the elected committee is not actually the developing committee. It's actually the destroying committee.
Some protesters say the committee members are selfish and nepotists that are only there to serve their friends and family, referring to the Harambe food scheme.
All of us here that are standing here for this protest is unemployed. But if you go around the corner right now, you will see people there that are working and are getting Harambe. This is the corruption that we want to stop.
It's true.
Just go houses, but they are just giving some of them. Only the people that they know is what they are giving.
They are really struggling. They don't receive any Harambe. They are old people. They don't receive any Harambe. But we will see the young youth that are working really, they receive the Harambe.
2 weeks back, I was here to come talk to the councillor. He said, I'm suffering, I'm not working, I want porridge for this child because that lady said, yeah, the child get 250. I'm saying, no, I'm not an employer, I have 3-4 kids. What about 250 for this one? This one can eat, he can buy what clothes, he can 250 buy clothes. And this one is government property. When I come to them to ask for, they must help me.
Samuel Angolo was not there to receive the petition. He, however, tasked one of his representatives to meet the protesters.
Thank you for exercising your constitutional right as residents of Komazda constituency. In line of the Commerce Regional Council communication policy, I'm not mandated to address you. However, I will make sure that your petition is forwarded to the intended authority.
The constituency office has 48 hours to respond. Failure to comply will result in mass demonstrations within the community, says activist Zakaria Ilago.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Transnamib lost 9 tankers of oil in an explosion in the early morning hours of Tuesday between Brakwater and Elisenheim after the tankers derailed, causing heavy fires. Fortunately, no lives were lost. This report from Hendrina Kanyola.
The City of Windhoek Fire Brigade managed to get the situation under control and extinguish the fires. Abigail Rabenheimer, the manager of corporate communications at Transnamib, said that derailing has become a big concern for the company.
Unfortunately, yesterday at about 10 o'clock, which was the 25th of May, just outside of Windhoek, close to the Brakwater area, there was a derailment of 9 tankers. And unfortunately, the derailment caused the fire, quite heavy fires, which the City of Windhoek and the emergency services managed to thankfully subdue. So we're very thankful to them for their support and for getting the fire under control. So as I said, in terms of the rolling stock, we lost about 9 tankers were damaged. We spent the most of yesterday sort of trying to control the situation, get the fire under control. So as of today, we are looking into launching an investigation to understand why this derailment occurred.
The Transnamib Communications Department says the cause has not yet been determined and that thorough investigations are underway.
As you know, we've had a few tough months in terms of Transnamib, in terms of the incidents that have occurred. So we're really looking seriously into these matters because our safety and the safety of everyone around us and the communities is a priority.
The railway line is expected to be repaired within the next 2 days.
My name is Ephraim. I say no to gender-based violence. Do you?
The story of a handsome subscriber with a sister, a friend and a mom who are always needing airtime, and a lady who missed a call back from a job interview cause she went low on airtime. Over here, a super social lady who couldn't share with her friends cause they ran out of data. Then they remembered Tamba from MTC. They dialed *682# and followed the prompt. That's right. Thanks to Tamba gifting, transfer in advance, they all got what they need. Thank you, Tamba. Tamba, Tamba, gifting, Tamba. Tamba, Tamba, transferring, Tamba. Thanks to Tamba, we all are connected.
Are you a CMS member? With HospiCash 100, you can get up to 100,000 Namibian dollars cover with a 30,000 limit per event from as little as 100 Namibian dollars a month. We understand that being in hospital can be stressful. That is why with HospiCash 100, you can cover your non-medical expenses by receiving cash payouts when you are in hospital, so you can recover stress-free. Interested? SMS your name and HospiCash to 555 and we will call you back.
Winter is here. Let's warm you up by giving you a chance to win one of 12 gas heaters and accessories or a grand prize of 50,000 Namibian dollars. To enter the Winter Warmers competition, simply buy any combination of 2 or more of the following participating brands: Baker's, Five Roses, Fresh Pack, Frisco, or Hug in a Mug, and SMS Winter to 445. And remember to keep your till slip as proof of purchase. Promotions run from the 1st of May to the 31st of July. For more information and entry details, visit 99fm.com.na. T's and C's apply.
The Ministry of Mines and Energy has confirmed that an earthquake was recorded approximately 12 kilometers west of Kamanyap in the early hours of Monday morning. The event was recorded by 7 seismic stations of the Namibian Seismological Network, namely Windhoek, Kamanyap, Opuwo, Rundu, Katima Mulilo, and Aus. The earthquake registered a preliminary local magnitude of 4.9 as recorded by the Namibian Seismological Network. The earthquake was shallow at a depth of fewer than 15 kilometers. A team of geoscientists has been dispatched to the field to conduct an intensive survey of the earthquake. The public is advised to take precautionary measures when an earthquake occurs, such as if finding yourself indoors, to try going outside safely when possible, otherwise find refuge under a table. If outdoors, find a clear spot well clear of buildings, trees and power lines. Stay and face away from windows and watch out for falling objects. And Bank Windhoek was presented with the prestigious Sustainable Development Award as the best green financial institution in Namibia. Hosted by the Namibian Environmental Investment Fund in partnership with the Sustainable Development Advisory Council, the Sustainable Development Awards took place at the Safari Hotel Conference Center in Windhoek. In her acceptance remarks, Bank Windhoek's Managing Director Berenice Hans said that Namibia had seen the impact of global warming and climate change on the local environment and businesses firsthand. Hans stressed that the transition to a sustainable and green economy requires financing investments that provide environmental and social benefits. Delivering the keynote address, the Minister of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, Pohamba Shifeta, said that the transition to a greener economy based on the most efficient and sustainable use of the country's natural resources offers Namibia the opportunity to move out of this crisis towards a nation that is food, water and energy secure. Adding that it is for this reason that accelerating the green economy transition is key to the country's development as a nation.
New Nivea Black and White Deo protects me and my favorite outfit. That's why I feel confident and free. With 5 times Deo Action formula, I stay fresh and protected for 48 hours. And my clothes stay stain-free. Try SA's #1 anti-stain deo.
Hey, this is Script, and you can catch me on One Africa TV on Sundays at 8 p.m. as we chat to Namibian changemakers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and doers who are changing the game. 99 FM Game Changers is supported by Paratus. Limiting potential is not an option. Think big.
Pip's got denim for the whole family at unbeatable prices. $59.99. For girls at $69.99. Men's only $169.99. And ladies just $119.99. That's lower than last year's price. Get more deals on denim in store. Life's better with Pep.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's Business on One and economic indicators.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. Two of the most prominent players in the local diamond industry, the Namibia Diamond Trading Company NDTC and Namibia Desert Diamond NAMDIA, have partnered on a show that is aimed at enlightening the public about the diamond industry and sharing information on the value and positive impact that it has on society. Annually, the diamond industry is said to contribute approximately 10% towards the gross domestic product. In efforts to open up the world of this precious commodity to everyday Namibians, NDTC and NAMDIA have come up with a show called Diamond Talk that started last year. In the different episodes, prominent figures from the industry share information that pertains to diamonds.
We realized that despite the fact that we know a lot about the industry, Namibians and the rest of the world don't really know that much about the industry, especially because it's seen as an opaque industry. So we're opening up the industry to the public by dispelling some of the myths, dispelling some of the misinformation, and also just sharing information on what the diamond industry also does for everyday Namibians. Besides the dividends that we pay that my colleague mentioned, there's a lot of other things that we do in the beneficiation program, which is actually a word that was coined within the diamond industry, is finding ways for the industry to benefit Namibians, benefit the everyday people on the street. And this is where people are able to know what is it that they benefit from the organizations within the diamond industry, directly or indirectly. And another thing also for Diamond Talks was in a sense of putting the pieces together, because there's so many moving parts within the industry on the value chain that people don't really understand. Where do you fit? Where does NDTC fit? Where does NAMDIA fit in the value chain? And what value do they add to the value chain?
The segments cover topics such as opportunities offered and myths around diamonds and the production of the resource. Namibians will also be introduced to key players and the role that they play.
The opportunity to participate in the diamond industry does not necessarily mean we all need to sit with a diamond in our hands. But there's a number of opportunities throughout the value chain, and sometimes we don't have sight of it. So this is an opportunity where industry leaders come together and also showcase to you, open up to you and share with you, okay, well, polishers, you have manufacturers who cut and polish diamonds, but they have equipment. The equipment needs to be serviced by people, by services, by companies. So there are other opportunities that we also want to introduce or just share broadly with the audience that would give them a better insight, particularly for entrepreneurs into the industry. So we're excited. We hope that our viewers would tune in. We have so far 7 segments that we've recorded that will be aired on One Africa in due course. So please stay tuned and make sure that you understand when those are airing so that you can follow the conversation. I must make clear that Diamond Talk initially started off as a conversation that was hosted by NAMDIA, and it grew into an industry conversation that we were able to consolidate industry efforts and views on. So it's certainly not one of the first, it's definitely not one of the last. The intention, like Bentley was saying, is to ensure that we understand that we have one diamond. It's one diamond in Namibia. It's one story. We all just play different parts as it relates to that diamond. I think the other thing that I wanted to add was this is really your opportunity as a viewer. If you have questions that you've always had, you've had worries, you've had things that were just not clear to you about what happens in this industry, this is your opportunity to reach out to us and give us those thoughts and those ideas, because they also inform us how we can package the next program that actually answers your question.
The segments are currently streaming live on NDTC and NAMDIA Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and soon will air on One Africa television. One episode will air each month, and a lucky viewer will stand a chance to walk away with a prize.
We do run a competition. The fantastic pay attention to what is being said. And the answer always lies within the topic of discussion for that particular episode. So we run a competition, and the winner walks away with a fantastic hamper. It's a hamper, that has all the goodies that any person would want to win. And that we give to every episode. There's a competition for that.
That's all we have for you. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Business on One.
It's Spar Rewards winner car time, and you could be turning your shopping into one of 50 limited edition Hyundai Grand i10s. Plus, get incredible deals like Nescafe Recoffee for just $74.99 and Cool Baked Beans in tomato sauce for only $10.49. Remember, every participating product you buy gets you another entry to win when you swipe your Spar Rewards card. Spar Rewards winner car, now on.
Now we look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. At a recent stakeholder meeting on land and housing delivery targets of the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Erastus Utani, called for the financial sector to urgently intervene in addressing the housing needs of low-income earning groups. Thomas Casita says it's a thorny issue, noting that the city of Windhoek has inflated prices while government has left councillors to do what they want. King Abisai says it's all words and that action should be taken. While Enthina Jager wants the program to be extended to other towns as well. And hopes are still high for the safe return of 4-year-old Spencer Mandela Nakale as another peaceful march took place in Keetmanshoop in hopes to get authorities to find him. Mandela went missing last year on the 28th of December and is yet to be found. Amadila says she can't believe that he has been missing for so long. Emmanuel says law enforcement must pull up their socks and do what they are supposed to do. Selma says it's so painful and believes that the truth will come out one day. While Marta Petrus is praying for his safe return, noting that it is not easy for a parent to lose a child. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One. Charo Musiandaka is standing by for Sports on One.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm Charo Musiandaka. Administration has been a challenge in Namibian football, This has prompted the Namibia Football Association and the Namibia Premier Football League to host an administration and management workshop at the NFA Technical Center in order for them to develop and assist in upskilling delegates from clubs and regions in the field. Let's cross over to Castro.
Head coach Rasten Mohane noted to the participants the importance of administration.
It's very important that we empower our regions. If you don't empower your region, at headquarters you have nothing. Therefore, I want to say, it is not how far you move, it's this first step that you take that is important. And that is what you are doing now. You are taking the first step. You don't think to become Rasten Mohane in one day. It is impossible. Rasten Mohane was a national coach, he was the chief administrator of the sports commission, he was a deputy director, he was a principal. How can you become in 2 days this man? That is impossible. It took time to go through that. But what we are doing as administrators, we are looking at the hardware. We don't look at the software. And it's where the key of the matter is. The skills and knowledge is the software. We want to have, of course it's important to have a stadium. Of course it's important to have an office. Of course it's important to have cars. It is important. But does it make sense if you have a White House there, a beautiful car, but you don't have the skills and the knowledge to take people forward? So it is important for us to know governance. What I'm talking about is governance. What I told you there. You must know what is my role as chairman of my club. What is my role as the finance person? If you don't know that, you will do the finance instead of the HR. And I must be honest with you. Currently, in this country, we have those problems. The chairman think he is the CEO, and the CEO think he is the chairman. We cannot have those things. If you do that, we say in English, it will cascade down to the youth. The youth will pick up those bad habits, those bad things that they are doing, and they take it forward. And where will our country be? So let us put up history so that we know what's going on. Let us know what is governance. Let us know what is administration.
In his remarks read by the Namibia Women Football Chairperson Monica Shapwa, the Chief Administrator at Namibia Sports Commission commended the association for the initiative, stating that such workshops will contribute to the development of sports in the country.
This initiative of running this kind of workshop is in line with the Namibian Sports Commission strategic objective, that of ensuring that our clubs and regions are managed in the light of effective leadership and vision-orientated. Gone are the days when one ran a code without relevant skills, as the 21st century requires dynamic leaders who can bring positive changes to the organization. This workshop, as provided, will go a long way in support of professionalization of football as a national code. Football is one of the 6 sport codes identified to be professionalized, and this can only be achieved by having skills transfer of this nature. Thereafter, looking at this topic that you as a team will be engaged into, I become happy, hence the skills that our members will receive will contribute to sports development in our country.
The 4-day workshop started from the 25th of May to the 28th of May 2021 at the NFA Technical Center in Windhoek.
That's all we have for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Maggie.
Thank you for that update, Chiro. Time now for the weather forecast.
Now we look at the weather forecast. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm to hot. The coast will be partly cloudy and warm to hot with mist in the early morning. Wind will be moderate northerly to fresh southerly. Now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
That is all from us this evening. Tune in. Maggie Forciero and the rest of the team. It's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUF for life. We are IUF.
Beautiful souls, this is Nikita Winkler and I am here to share easy tools for stretching that you can do just about anywhere. This is a demonstration, so what's most important is that you take the time that your body requires to release the tension that you have. So let's get started. In this session, we will be using all the tools you have and all the tools you need to give yourself a neck massage, a neck and shoulder massage. So first, I'm going to cup my fingers and I'm going to go to the front of the neck and I'm going to draw lines down and then massage up, down, whatever feels good. If you feel the tension, dig into it. I'm going to go to the back of the neck now using 4 fingers. And you can draw lines from the bottom up, or you can go all the way into the shoulder blades, drawing all that tension up. And last but not least, using the thumb, especially this part of the thumb, to dig into the head, the base of the skull. Create circular movement or line. Go where you find the tension and continue giving your head some pressure. And wow, you're gonna feel so much more alive once you give yourself a massage. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Don't forget to breathe and happy stretching.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. the future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them, and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business.
I don't know, cut it off.
I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future.
My first memory of going with I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palamba. So I decided to go for tour guide studies, because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also about my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities, and wildlife is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palamba, and Palamba is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities. to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well. Lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit, it's actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now each of changed to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put the proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
Extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable.
Wildlife is working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the other.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number. You've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcases really what the project is all about.
It's from 24-karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there. Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
As trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
They make sure. And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have. It's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environment.
Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US, if you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience I can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Just believe in me.